This video is for anybody who wants to see how to turn a real life situation of conflict and struggle into an opportunity for personal growth. How is it possible to take a shitty situation and turn it into an opportunity for growth? I'm going to show you by telling you about a situation that I've been experiencing myself as it unfolds over the last couple of weeks. The reality of doing shadow work is that it's really hard work and it requires a lot of commitment to the cause. But if you have that commitment to grow as a human being, then when you find yourselves in these situations, you can look at it, go deeper, look at your part in it, look at your history, and work out how you can grow from the situation. How can you better respond next time? Or what has this brought up in you that maybe you need to hold space for? So I have a situation with someone who I believed should be offering much more honesty and integrity. In my perception of things, which is all I can speak to, there seems like there is a lack of congruence between this person's actions and what this person is saying. That's what it comes down to at the heart of it. And then there was a situation where I felt like I had been lied to, felt like there was some gaslighting happening. So I found myself in a situation trying to solve this conflict and unable to. And honestly, that's probably my biggest struggle in this situation, because I've done a lot of work on myself. I've done a lot of work with communication. I'm really quite good at sitting and talking about the difficult things. But what happened was I went into a conversation to resolve this conflict and there was no resolution at all. In fact, I was left much more angry after the conversation than I was before we went into it. When I was thinking about why that had happened afterwards, it gives me an opportunity to look at the conflict that has happened and understand not only what is my part to play, what is the other person's part to play, but also what's going on at a deeper level for me and for the other person. So when I was thinking about this situation and I'm wondering, why am I fighting so hard? Why don't I just walk away? I believe this person isn't acting out of a place of a pure heart, so why don't I just walk away from the situation? Why am I engaging in trying to find some sort of a common ground when I could just walk away? And that's what I wanted to look at. Why was I fighting for this situation, even though it wasn't being resolved? If I look to my childhood, there was a lot of adversity in my childhood. My mum was very volatile. And a lot of my childhood, I had to pretend things were okay when they really were not okay. So now as an adult, when I'm in situations where I'm asked to pretend that everything is perfect when it isn't, I really struggle with that. I don't enjoy that. I value authenticity and honesty above everything else. Everything else. They are my absolute highest core values. And what I experienced in my childhood also led to me having this innate desire to fight for other people. And whilst I've done a lot of work on myself and I've examined a lot of things and I've been able to kind of distance myself from that need to play in those drama energies, which is a little bit what that is. Sometimes a situation like this will happen where I'll get caught by surprise and realize that I've been dragged into a reflection of those relationships I had when I was younger. When I bring myself back to this situation, and what I'm trying to do in this process is depersonalize it. It's not what the other person said. It's not what I said. It's not the actual dynamic of what happened. What I'm looking is at the deeper triggers. Why am I allowing myself to play with this kind of conflicting energy, with these arguments, and why am I feeling so negative afterwards and between states? So that's what I'm looking for. While I'm thinking about this situation, I have to also consider the other person. It may be that all of the things that I have thought about and considered and held space for about my childhood and my motivations, it may be that none of those are relevant. It could also be that everything to do with this situation belongs to the other person. Because what you need to understand is that not every situation is based on you and your history. Some situations are just the other person's stuff. Now, that other person could have a million stories going on from their childhood or experiences that they've had that is triggering them to act in the way they act. It could be that this other person is deeply triggered to kind of say things that maybe they wouldn't normally say or act in a way that they wouldn't normally. Or maybe I'm right in my feeling of injustice, and maybe this other person does have a lack of authenticity. The reality of doing shadow work is that it can be freaking hard. And not everyone is doing the same thing. And whether you're at the beginning of your self-development journey or you're 30 years into your self-development journey, things will still come up because we're human beings having a human experience and interacting with other human beings who are at different stages of their growth, their personal growth, than we are. So when you do this kind of self-analysis and you look deeper, you look beyond the actual words that were said, the actual situation that unfolded, and you look to the motivations that brought this into your life, and you then sort of hold space for what things could be happening for the other person. And you don't need to go into detail. You don't need to understand what's happening for the other person. You just need to consider that the other person will have childhood familial things that are coming into this for them. They will have other life experiences that they're playing out. And when you do this work, you can look at a situation, like I can look at this situation now with a lot more peace and kind of go, okay, I see, this is not a situation that I have to keep engaging with. I can reflect on it. I can see where that has come from in me, why it triggered those feelings for me. And I can hold space for that because, maybe there's part of my inner child that needed caring for. Maybe the reason I kind of allowed that stuff to come out is because there's a part of my inner child that just needed a minute for like, oh yeah, that was tough when you were a child, but it's okay. That's not where things are now. Maybe my inner child needed soothing. And when I think about that, that also gives me compassion because I think about the other person involved in the situation and I think, there will be something in their inner child that needs soothing too. Now, immediately, I'm in a situation where I've had this conflict and the power has gone, and I've had a huge opportunity for learning and growth. Learning self-development is really tough at the beginning, but just remember that practice makes perfect. Keep any new ways of thinking in mind and just keep putting in the reps. Please drop a comment below if you feel like this has resonated with you in any way at all. Thank you so much for watching. I hope to see you in the next video. Have a great day.